Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you'll have seen from the title of the video, I'm doing the Do You Know Your Slang tag, which was created by the fantastic Mel from a book fiend named Mel. Mel is an Australian booktuber. She's also a teacher. She's also massively underrated, so I will leave her linked in the description. So please do go check her out and subscribe. I really enjoy her content. She's got this real relaxed, chilled vibe. It's like chatting with a friend. And as you can see behind me, she's made me wreck my bookshelves for this video, so please go and subscribe and check her out. So this tag, which as I said Mel is the creator for, came about because she posted this really hilarious video, which I'll also link in the description, where she was talking about how she doesn't understand a lot of the slang on Booktube. I'm sure Mel won't mind me saying, but she is a bit older than the general demographic of people on Booktube, as am I. And she was talking about how there's loads of slang that gets thrown around and she didn't understand what it meant, and she just posted this really funny video talking about it, and I commented on the video saying, oh, you should turn this into a tag, and she did. So we chatted about it a little bit. In her original tag video, which will also obviously be linked in the description, she was kind enough to say that I was like a co-creator. I really wasn't. This is all her doing. We just had a little chat about it, so that is all kind of the input. This is definitely her tag. Apologies, the angle changed slightly. My neighbours decided to stand right outside my open lounge window and have a really loud conversation, so I had to close that and come back and film. So the premise of this is really simple. There are a collection of words that Mel has put together that are slang terms that are used here on Booktube. You have to explain what you think it means and then recommend a book to go along with it. I very deliberately haven't watched Mel's video or anyone else's because I didn't want to be like influenced on what I think the words mean, and I've also not looked them up. Some of them I'm confident with, some less so, but let's make a start. So the first word is shook, and I will link all of these in the description. Now I think shook means a book that shocked you, as in I was shook, I was shocked. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. And whenever I think of books that shocked me, a book that has shocked me, the first one that always comes to mind is The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. I've read this a couple of years ago now and I feel like it's time for a reread. One ran, one stayed, but who is the good daughter? It's about a pair of sisters who 28 years ago something happened to them. Ever since they've kind of been adrift from each other, and then one of them gets called back to their hometown because something else has happened, and it just goes from there. And that's a super vague synopsis, but it's one of those that you just have to go into and read. I would say with Karen Slaughter, she is not for the faint-hearted. This is gory, it's violent, a lot happens in it, but there are some real twists and turns in this, a couple of which I saw, and literally twice I just put the book down because I was completely shocked or shook. See what I did there? So that's one my pick for shook. Ship is the next one, and it took me an embarrassingly long time when I was first on Booktube to work out what this means. I was like, ship? Why are people talking about books set at sea? That's really confusing. I don't understand why that's a thing and why they're so excited about it. And then I realised it meant relationship. So a ship, I think, is a relationship that you want to happen between two characters who may or may not end up together, or may or may not be on the page. I think some ships are what actually are in the books, and then some are what people would like to have happen. So my pick for this is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the second in the, I can't remember what the series is called now. The first book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. The Curse Breaker series? I can't remember. I'm a really bad booktuber and it sort of matches my top. Yeah, so my pick for that is this book. However, I can't really say who my ship is because it's the second book and it would give stuff away. But we have new characters in this. There's a character called Liamara. There's other people in it, obviously, because that's how books work. But for me, Liamara and that person would be my ship. And I just love this series. And also, how gorgeous is this cover? And yes, I cracked the beautiful spine. Sorry. Right, next is Stan. So, again, this one is a weird word because I don't understand how we got to the word Stan. But Stan, oh actually no, that I've just figured it out literally as I was sat here. I think it stands for super fan. Is that right? Please someone tell me in the comments. I think if you stan something, you're a super fan. And in this house, there was really only one author that I could go for, and that is Margaret Atwood. I am a Margaret Atwood stan. I have read all of her books. I think she's amazing. She is so eloquent. She's so highly intelligent. I say I've read all of her books. I've read all of her fiction works. She's been published almost 100 times, I think, at this point. She's written non-fiction books. She's written essays. She's written children's stories. She's written adult literary novels. She's just I want to be Margaret Atwood when I grow up, basically. So in this house, we are definitely Margaret Atwood stans. I really hope I've got that right. Then we have Cinnamon Roll. This is one I'm more confident with. Cinnamon Roll, I think, is a character who is just too pure for this world, needs to be protected at all costs, and just brings joy. And instead of choosing a book with a character, I've got a book that I think is a Cinnamon Roll book, and that is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Mackery. I really hope Maxey. I'm not sure. This one that's been all over Booktube. I was very kindly gifted this book last month, read it in 1 or 2 sittings, had a thoroughly wonderful time, and it just soothed my soul. It's not really a story as such, it's like a series of these stunning illustrations, and they've got the most beautiful message behind them about friendship and love and life. Like this one here says, "Is your glass half empty or half full?" asked the mole. "I think I'm grateful to have a glass," said the boy. And it's so pure, and to me that's what Cinnamon Roll means. Trash is the next one, and yeah, I think this is a bit close to what is that phrase that I really hate that I always say? I'm like da da da, where my brain's completely switched off at this point. So trash, I think, is that thing that you're not supposed to like, and I really don't like that whole concept. I think we should just enjoy what we enjoy. However, when people say I'm trash for that series, I think it means that they'll like read anything or do anything, buy all the merch. So I was looking on my shelves and this instantly jumped out at me, and it's Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. I love this series with my entire being. I have all 3 of the books so far. We're hoping to get a 4th book this year at some point, hopefully. And I'm such trash for these books. I have them in paperback and in hardback. Well, I have the second 2 in hardback. I cannot find this one in hardback anywhere. I've ordered a couple online and they've arrived and been in really awful condition. So the hunt continues for a decent one of these. But yes, I'm definitely trash for Nevermore. I'm a huge fan. Stan, I guess I could be if I was using that vernacular. And yeah, that was just my answer for this one. It's a beautiful middle grade series. It's about Morrigan Crow, who is a cursed child, a so-called cursed child, fated to die on her 11th birthday. On her 11th birthday, she is rescued by Jupiter North and swept away to the world of Nevermore, and it goes from there. And I just think it's such a fantastic series. It's so much there's so much depth to it. It's quite dark in places, but it looks at things like grief and loss in a way that is really important for kids. It also looks at things like what it's like to be a refugee and to be kind of othered because of that. I just think it's a fab series, and I'm definitely trash for it. Next up, we've got 3 left. And the word is salty, and I think that Salty is a book that you kind of side-eye, that you have a lot of opinions of, or that annoys you. I think that's what salty means, that kind of like feeling when you have salt on your tongue, like, ooh. I don't have any books that make me salty because I don't keep books that I don't enjoy, but I did spot this one, and the main character in it can be really salty, and that is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. Danny Brown is our central character. She is very salty a lot of the time, and that's one of the reasons why I love her. This is a romance book. Don't read much romance, but I really love this series. And this is a fake dating trope. So Danny winds up getting into a fake relationship with, what's her guy called? I've not read these for a while. Zaf is her guy. They end up fake dating, and then they might fall in love. I love these books. They are fun. They have rep. It's all about kind of consent. It's also, you know, got naughty bits, and yeah, I just love it. But Danny is definitely quite a salty character, and that's why we love her. Next up is Lit. Yeah, I wasn't sure on this one. If something is lit, I think it means like really cool or really nice or really good, something like that. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what to choose for this, so I just picked my favourite cover at the moment because I think it's really cool, and that is The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue, one of my favourite reads of this year. I am obsessed with this cover, and so I picked it for this. I don't know if this fits at all. So we are in Dublin in 1918 during the flu pandemic and World War I, and we are following a nurse who works on a maternity ward That's literally what I'm going to say about it. It's beautiful, it's stunning. If you haven't read it yet, you really need to. And that was my pick for this one. Like I said, there were a few words I was like, not sure, but I'm going to give it a go. And that was definitely one of those. And then finally, the last word is tea. So I think spilling the tea is like telling the truth, spilling the truth. And a book that does that in a way that I was not expecting and on a topic that I wasn't expecting to have any more light shed on is The Five by Hallie Rubenhold. This is the untold lives of the women killed by Jack the Ripper. And this looks at the truth of those women, those 5 women, and what happened to them. And it's one of those books that makes you sad, it makes you angry. You come away from it just, yeah, feeling all the things. I think everyone should read this. It reads like fiction. I had to keep reminding myself that these were real people that were being talked about. Thought it was fantastic. One of my favourite reads of last year. Highly recommend. So that is the Do You Know Your Slang tag. How well did I do? Drop me a comment below, let me know how well I did. I'm going to tag some people whose opinions I always want to hear. I'm going to tag Leanne from Literary Diversions, who is the queen of salt. I'm going to tag Hilary from Melted Books, who I think is a total cinnamon roll. And I'm going to tag Kaz from Cats and Camera, because she has always got some really good opinions. I feel like the Stan question she might have some really good answers for, but all of them, I'm excited to see what they do with this tag. So please drop me a comment below. Let me know, what is your stan? Who do you stan? I don't think I'm going to start using these words, they just don't sit right, do they? But this was a really fun tag. Please subscribe if you... Oh, I've hiccuped during my outro. That's good. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.